Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another recipe with Dishes by Deb. This morning we are actually going to get started on our corned beef and cabbage. Now, our last video was of making the homemade corned beef, so it's been brining in the refrigerator now for the last week, and today we are finally going to cook it. So this is a really easy one, very simple, but yet very delicious. So I can't wait to show you guys. Right, so for this, you could either buy corned beef from the store, so it's already pre-packaged, already pre-seasoned, or you can make your own corned beef. So I actually made my own. The last video I uploaded was of making the homemade corned beef, so you can go check that out. So this has actually been brining now for about 8 days. So yeah, usually you can brine it for about 7 to 10 days. It gives it that really nice flavor. And then today we're going to cook it. And for this, you're going to cook it just really low and really slow. And, it's going to take a long time, but it's actually a very, very easy recipe. All right, so first you want to do is you want to get out the corned beef and you want to rinse it off. And you want to put it into a pot. Now this pot is a very big pot. I recommend using the biggest you have. I think this one holds 3 gallons of water because you're going to be adding a lot of ingredients into this, so you need the room to put them. All right, so next thing you want to do is you want to fill the pot with water to just cover the meat. Next thing you want to do is you're going to actually add in a bottle of beer. I am just using a regular lager for this one. Also, if you made the homemade corned beef and you have the leftover spices, or if the store-bought corned beef has a spice packet, you can dump that into the water now. We're going to stir this in, and then we're going to let this thing start boiling, and then we're going to simmer it. And I cannot wait. It's going to start smelling so good so quickly. All right, we are getting close. We are just beginning to boil. So once this really starts boiling, I'm going to put the cover on it, then I'm going to turn the heat down to low, and we are just going to let this simmer for hours. The name of the game is low and slow. But it will make for a very, very tender cut of meat, and, just soaking in all these spices and the beer, it's going to be very flavorful. So once this is done with its initial simmering for about 4 hours, we will be adding in the other ingredients one at a time, because some of them need a little extra time, some of them need a little less time to cook. So this is also going to have some carrots. I like to use the baby carrots so I don't have to cut them up. It makes my life easier. Red potatoes, and then of course cabbage. You can't have corned beef and cabbage without cabbage. And that is it. That is how simple this is. One thing I do want to add here is this will take 5.5 to up to 7 hours to cook, so you want to give yourself time. You don't want to start this at 5 o'clock in the evening. I recommend getting it started in the morning and then having it for kind of a really either late lunch or an early dinner, maybe like a dinner. Okay, so we are boiling now, so I'm going to put the cover on and reduce the heat to low. Alright, so 4 hours have passed, so now it is time to add in the next ingredient, which will be the carrots. This is what we are looking at right now. This smells so incredibly good. All right, so now we're going to add in the carrots. I like to use the baby carrots. Again, I just, saves me from chopping more stuff. And I just use, I forgot the ounces, but a kind of standard bag of baby carrots. I dump them all in. All right. Ooh, sorry for the steam. All right, so we're going to now cover this back up, and we are going to set the timer now for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, we will add our next ingredient. All right, so while the carrots cook, I'm going to start preparing the potatoes. Since the carrots are only cooking for 30 minutes, this is a great time to get the potatoes chopped up because these are going in next. Now, with the potatoes, I'm not chopping them too small. I'm just kind of slicing them in probably quarters. They don't need to be too small because you are actually going to be leaving them in the pot for about an hour, so they do have plenty of time to get nice and soft. Alright, so 30 minutes have passed since we added the carrots, so now it is time to add the potatoes in. So let's see what we're looking at here. Ooh, wow. This smells really, really good, guys. We're just gonna dump all of these in. Wow. I wish you guys can smell this. I know I say this every recipe, but I wish you could smell this. It smells so good. So for the potatoes, we are going to let these simmer now for an hour. And then after an hour, we will add in the cabbage and let that cook for a little bit. And then we are done. So we're getting close, guys. We're getting very close. All right, so while the potatoes are cooking, when there is about 20 minutes left, you're going to want to get the cabbage prepared. So for this, you're going to want to remove the outer leaves because those get a little grungy, a little dirty. And then you're going to want to rinse the remainder. And then you will cut this into just kind of small wedges. And then these are going to be added once the potatoes are done cooking. So when I am cutting up the cabbage, what I like to do is I like to cut it in half first. And then I like to kind of cut out this little inner hard part, and then I will chop the remaining leaves into these little wedges, and that will be added to the corned beef and cabbage once the potatoes are done. So I got the cabbage all chopped up, as you can see here. Don't be alarmed if it starts falling apart. It's going to fall apart in the pot anyways. You just kind of want to chop it into little wedges, and then once the potatoes are done cooking, we will be adding this to the pot. All right, so it's been about an hour since we added the potatoes, so let's take a look at what we got here. Ooh, nice. All right, so now we're going to be adding in the cabbage. We are just going to dump all of that into here. This is why I said to use a very big pot, because it does fill up quickly. And now that the cabbage is in, we are going to cook this for another 30 minutes. And then we will be done. We are almost there, guys. All right, so it has been about 30 minutes since we added the cabbage, and we should be done now. So let's open this up and take a look. Oh my goodness. Wow. This smells so phenomenal. So I am going to plate this now, and I will be back momentarily to show you the final product. Okay, and here we go. This is the finished product. We have the corned beef, which is so tender, it was falling apart as I was cutting it. Then we have the cabbage, the potatoes, and the carrots. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It really is quite easy to make, and it makes, once again, a ton of food, and it's a one-pot meal, which you know I always love. So enjoy this one. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody, and yeah, I'll see you next week.